Before we start today's video, I just want to mention that I have 2 brand new stickers out on my new website, ByLowDad.com. So the first sticker I have to showcase is Buy Low Barra. Everyone knows Barras, but Intex are so slept on. That's why they're better than Barras. And as I was saying before, Intex are better than Barras, so you gotta have the sticker to match. And as you can see, it's an Intec kicking a Barra's ass. Back in the early 2000s, there used to be a chain of supermarkets called Buy Low. Buy Low used to sell the cheapest alternative of a well-known product. For instance, cornflakes, that would be called Corn Krispies, and rice bubbles used to be called Rice Frosties. And because we do everything on the cheap here, I decided to call my brand Buy Low Dad. Instead of spending $15,000 on a Barra, I'm getting the same results by spending $2,000 on an Intec home brand. And if you like doing things on the cheap like me, go check out ByLowDad.com and help support the builds. Last few months, we've been building this turbo EF XR6, which is fitted with an AU engine and AU subframe. It's taken such a long time to get this car to where it is. We've completely stripped this engine bay. We've put in a brand new AU subframe. We've put in an AU motor and a huge Max Pini Rods turbo, shout out to them. And today, we need to get this thing rolling because my dad is buying a new car. I have been supplied some brand new brake rotors, brake pads, and new wheel bearings for the AU front end of this car. So thank you very much to Peter for hooking me up with some Protex goodness. Hello, right now I'm installing the shortened inner tie rod, and when I say shortened, I will show you what I mean. Because I had absolutely no idea what the fuck I was talking about in that clip, I'm going to briefly explain what I mean by shortened inner tie rods. Basically, there are a few ways to install a lock kit on an AU. The first being, you put in AU inner ends and you cut 15 millimeters off each end. And what that allows you to do is put the correct size transit tie rod ends on, and because they are about twice as long as the AU tie rod ends, you are able to then obviously get more lock. Another way of doing it is to put extended inner ends in and use AU outers. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because it's much easier and cheaper to do it this way because it's hard to get your hands on extended inners. Okay, so I've been busy taking off the old hubs, taking off everything that was old that we're replacing obviously with the new parts. If you have a look here, I took this wheel bearing off and the inner race stayed on the spindle. There's really no other option except... Now that both of the spindles are tight, I can now go ahead and tighten the lower control arms both at the rear and the front parts of the subframe. So what I'm talking about is that nut and bolt there, and it's got the same thing here. And what you want to do when you're doing this for the first time, I've got obviously brand new lower control arms, so I want to make sure that these rubber bushes last as long as possible, and I'm going to jack the lower control arm up just so it starts lifting off the jack stand there. It's basically going to put the car into laid-in position. Time to put the Protex front rotors on. We've also got some Protex front pads to go on. You ever seen an E-Series with big brakes? Neither have I, but here you go. Not Series 1, but Series 2/3 AU Falcon brakes. So they're way bigger. If you guys are familiar with how small E-Series brakes are, first of all, they're a single piston They're literally, like, I'm not even exaggerating, half the size. Also, the rotors are smaller, whereas these ones are a 2-piston Johnny. These pull up AUs pretty good. Yeah, I'm super excited that these are on. We've got some brand new rotors and brand new pads. Unfortunately, I just noticed I was putting the other side together and I'm missing the copper crush washer that goes between the banjo bolt and the actual brake line. I need to go to the wreckers anyway because I'm also missing the bolt that goes up there. That's okay, those are little things. It's not going to prevent the car from rolling, but earlier in the video you would have seen me putting in all the steering components. Basically, the discovery I made, this is just going to be a temporary thing, but I have some AU tie rod ends on the car right now. The reason why I can't bolt the steering up right now is because I have shortened spindles on the car, and because I don't have the extended rack ends, the extended tie rod ends like the transit ones, I can't actually get the car pointing straight with just standard AU components. Looking very nice. I would have liked to paint them, but maybe something in the future. My main priority is just to get this car rolling and started. Obviously, this thing has been sitting stagnant for a very long time, almost a year in fact. It's actually quite depressing thinking about it. Time to get the wheels on. My memory isn't failing me, I'm pretty sure this is the first ever time this car has seen sunlight, with the painted bay, with the painted rocker cover, the engine in, obviously with the intercooler on, and the star of the show, the big brakes off the AU Falcon, of course. Now that it's in the sunlight, don't regret doing the intercooler this way because it looks pretty cool, like all tucked up under the headlights there. You can really see the sparkle of the rocker cover here in the sunlight. I mean, you can definitely see it in person. I'm not sure how well it's translating on the camera, but it looks really good. It's a bit dirty, it's a bit dusty, but looks amazing. I'd love to actually see how these brakes perform, but it's gonna be, you know, a little bit more until we can have the car driving, but I have no doubt that they're gonna perform really well. Way better than the single pot ones that were on this car, with the bloody horse and carriage wheel bearings as well. I've essentially completely modernized the front end of this car. It's up to scratch with new cars now as well, with unitized wheel bearings and 2-pot brakes and stuff like that. I'm super happy with how they turned out. Obviously there's still some like refining touches that I need to do, but for the most part they're on, it's rolling, and that was the main goal of today, getting the car rolling, getting the big brakes on. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Please go check out buylowdad.com. I do have some jet tags on order. They should be ordered by the time you're seeing this video, so at some point in the future I will advertise them as well, but every single time we work on it, it's one step closer. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.